is check to see if we're live.
Yep, I'll do
So
that in
what-
just a minute.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah,
Do me a favor also, Alex, when you do it, is put in the keyword that you're using for youtube.com.
the password,
No.
or I mean the link.
What we should search, the search.
Okay, I'll
the
provide a
search-
link
Put it on the,
in each
put it on the
section.
board, the search key,
Okay,
so other people can find it. You know what I mean?
got it.
Just when you get it there,
So where is
you need to do it.
So go down to users and groups, and then users, and then click find users to enroll. You type in C12106201. Search that. Or no, wait, X out of that. You submit.
Submit.
Alright, I think that did it, but let me just double check.
Are we not?
Just a sec. No, gotta go back again.
Right?
So go back to find users to enroll. Here.
Oh.
Find users,
Or should I put it as,
I'm just, like, no, so, oh yeah, TA. Then
what
try
was it?
C1206 201. Submit.
User already enrolled?
Oh wait, check if I'm. There, yeah. So student, is that possible to change now? Yeah,
Change user's role.
and TA. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Go check to see, and then put it on the marker, exactly what you searched to find it. Okay, folks. Do you hear me? Yes, this is loud and clear, let's see. Okay, this is health informatics. We in the right place with me today? Okay, one of the nice things is this is our first time together, and we can see what this seminar is about and whether it fits your needs. I have a couple of people that have been with me before. I'm Sarah Rushinek, and I'm a professor of business technology, health informatics, and I'm in the business school, and also in School of Medicine in the Translational Research group, trying to bring medicine and what's happening on their desk and on their bench to profitable enterprises and projects, and to be able to communicate with their patients in the community. My undergraduate degree was from Tel Aviv University, and then I did my graduate work at the University of Texas at Austin, and I've taught at the University of Miami and also at UCLA and USC, University of San Francisco, University of Maryland, and also at the Technion, which is Israel's Institute of Technology. I work a lot with new companies as well as older companies in trying to see new ways to use this technology. And especially I think this is exciting in the healthcare environment, because in one sense, the healthcare is doing a lot of exciting new projects, and the healthcare in their back systems has a long way to go and needs improvements. So this is unique. Here in Miami, one of the things is there's a lot of health information systems and companies, and there's investments here in Miami in healthcare particularly versus other industries. So this is interesting as well. So today I'm going to talk about what the course covers, and already we can dig in and try some of these new technologies and see where we go from there. Okay? So you can see whether you'll join me. We meet in the evening, and I'm trying out new technologies, and we can think about the way even in education is we're sitting in these rows and we're physically here. Many times we're not able to be physically at one location at the same time, and I'm trying to try out a number of different new technologies here. So every class I am, and let me put this in a way, I'm attempting to broadcast this class to YouTube. So Simon has been with me in my previous class, so I'll have him set it up. We're starting with just this phone here. Sometimes we'll have a couple of different phones. Sometimes we'll have different other cameras and broadcasting. So right now I'm broadcasting, and later on I'm going to be bringing people in from all over the world that they can join us as well. Sometimes they can't come physically. We'll have people come, of course, physically if they can. This summer, by the way, I was inducted to the Hall of Fame. Did you see that video, Alex?
Yeah.
You were in it, but you in a number of ways. Alex, I'll introduce you to Alex in a moment. He's my teaching assistant. But I was out in California for this Hall of Fame, and I was really, in a way, awards don't mean much to me, but I was very impressed by the other inductees. One woman was from IBM, and she is in security, and she has about 100 patents, and she's basically invented, the single sign-on when you go into Facebook and you sign on. She has a single sign-on, and we have from Microsoft the highest-ranking woman in basically in their software, and also from Johns Hopkins in biomedical engineering, working with cardiologists, as well as someone from Monterey doing IT services. So why I'm telling you that is I invited them to join us in Miami. They'll try to join us physically here, so we'll do something as well as we're doing it, and also in cybersecurity. So my research interest and work has been in the areas of new technologies, their effectiveness in these new technologies, and I'm also working in AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, and applying it right now, some research in automated trading systems, algorithmic automated trading systems. So we'll look at, now you can think about it, we'll look in the health sector on how these trading systems work as well. So we'll be doing some work there. So Alex, do you want to just introduce yourself, Alex, to the class?
Yeah, so I'm a sophomore here. I'm a computer science major, and I have minors in finance and math. This is my second semester today for Dr. Rushnick.
Right. So he'll be helping us, especially with the software and things like that. So he's a valuable resource. So he'll help us on the evenings. This class will start in this room, and then when we need software to work, we have the lab reserved as well. So sometimes I'll tell you in advance, we'll go down to the lab. We'll also have physical guest speakers in all areas of cybersecurity, those people that are doing different software projects in health information systems and new mobile apps in health. So we'll have those. The advantage of a longer session is we can break it up, where we can have a guest speaker for the part or the last part, and then we can have lectures and hands-on exercises as well. But for the first couple of weeks, I want just for us to get our hands dirty and figure out where we're gonna go from here. So, in this class versus other classes, I'd like you to bring your computers with you. If you don't have your laptops with you, you can share with your neighbors. We'll try to do group work together, so we'll need to share. One of the things here in group work, it's difficult for people to physically meet each other. So we'll start off tonight working with some collaboration software that will be able to work in our groups, either separate groups or a number of groups, and what we'll be able to do is use software to do that. Okay? So let's start. I always like the first day because you're not behind in any way, right? And so we'll start and we'll see, and then we'll get to know you as well. So let's do this. Everybody go to, if you have a laptop or even you have your phone, go to Blackboard. Everybody know how to get into that? And we'll start with this. And tell me when you have Blackboard, what do you see according to, we should have, it should say in Blackboard, it should say BTE 450 685 KY, right? And there should be like a merge, because we have two sections here. We have the BTE 450 and we also have the 685. Those especially from the Translational Research Group and others. We've merged those two classes together so we don't have to go to two different sites. So what do you see? So what does somebody see here? Yes, what is your name?
Ben.
Ben.
I have two different courses.
Okay, what do you have?
I have BTE 450 KY Introduction to Health Informatics, and then BTE 450 / 685 KY Audit.
Okay,
And it's listed me as TA for some reason.
for some reason, okay? And who's listed as a TA? Raise your hand. Wow, how many TAs? I just thought I had Alex. Right? See, Alex, you're going to get a lot of help, okay? So now you have anyone not listed as a TA? Okay, great. So if you're not listed as a TA, we'll talk about it. So this is how we'll talk about it. Anytime we have health information systems, or any type of information systems, we have something that's called need to know. When I talk about data, when I talk about anything that especially in healthcare where we have, HIPAA, and we have a number of other applications, we have something that's called need to know. And what does need to know mean? Who can tell me? Let's even think about this class. I'm an instructor, right? I'm a professor of this class. Do I need to know your grades in this class? Yes or no? Yes. Do I need to know one student's grades or all students' grades in this class? All of them, right? Now, Ben, are you taking other classes?
I am.
You are. How many other classes are you taking?
5.
5 other classes. You're diligent. So in those 5 other classes, do I need to know Ben's grades in his other 5 classes? No. So if I don't need to know it, the system shouldn't allow me to see it. Right? So and it's the same thing with, and think about it in healthcare information systems, right? I don't have a need to know, right? I should be able to see I should be able to see my test results, but I shouldn't be able to see your test results, right? And if on one patient there's a number of physicians wanting to look at one patient, they should be able to see that patient. So there are issues on what we call in information systems roles. So at this point, me as an instructor, where you see yourself as the student, you then have your role as student is different than my role as instructor or professor. What's the difference? What can I do that you cannot do in those roles?
See everyone's grade.
See everyone's grades, you can see your own grades, what else? What else can I do? I can upload, right? I can delete files, I can add new students to my class, I can delete students from my class. Right, I can add links. Basically, I have read and write and delete writes. But in this class, how I view it, in this seminar, how I view it is it's a collaboration effort. That it's not one way. That we can learn from each other, and that's what we need to do. Life is like that now. We're not going to work by ourselves and just solve the problem. It has to be a team effort, and that's what we have to work at. So I need to create, this is one learning management system platform that's used for collaboration. At some point, I need to give you full rights. I cannot give you full rights to our student professor course. So I create then what then? Another section that gives you rights, and your role then is what? TA, teaching assistant. So you can already text your parents that now you were so brilliant this evening that you were promoted to TA, right? It's the truth.
Sounds good.
It sounds good anyways, you can put it. But in that way, we'll work on that tonight. So basically, you'll see that you already have that opportunity. We'll set up as groups for it. Okay? Any questions on that? So when people, I were getting a couple of emails today, and people were asking me, there must be an error, and or other people were asking me, where am I on the payroll? You know, you're not going to be paid for this process. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go so we can get an overview of what we're doing. Let's go to the BTE 450 685 KY merged. And I'll allow you to see this, and now we'll be able to see what is the process that we'll be doing in this course. So the first thing I guess we'll always start with is the course syllabus. This is the first week we'll do that. And there's two that are basically the same. There's a bit of a difference. And you'll see these icons. Icons are great when you think about UI and UX, you know, the user interface is if you know what these mean, it's great. If you don't, they have no meaning. But one is called a file and one is called an item. This is called a file and this is an item. I'll describe it more in detail when I talk about yours. But we can just open up any one of these. I'll just open up the first one. Let's see if we see something there. And then you can open it up as well. So let's see if we see it. Okay, so this you can see in this case, this is my name, Dr. Sarah Rushanek. This is my office, but just like virtually, I usually am not in my office. I'm virtually in other places. But the easiest way to get a hold of me is through the email. So if you get email, you can put on the subject line about this course. And then physical office hours, what I like to have is on Monday evenings, I teach in this class, another class from 5 to 6:15. And then I'm going to have office hours for those students. If you need to see me, you can come after that to this class usually. And on Wednesday evenings, after the class, a lot of times is the best time to have office hours because then I can help you more if what you needed. If you need other times, just email me and we can create a virtual conversation or we can meet physically if you'd like to meet physically. but that's the case here. This is the textbook, and if you click on the link there, you can basically get to the textbook that we have. Here's the course description. Basically, when you think about that course description of understanding the role of information with the healthcare information, defining the convergence, healthcare, and ranging from simple data gathering to the implementations. Here's the course objectives of looking at the new technologies and current and emerging use of clinical information systems and informatics. We'll also talk about security. Security's been key. Anybody hear about ransomware? Anyone? What's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel, have you heard about ransomware?
It was mentioned, I had to fill out a HIPAA test, and it was mentioned in that.
And what do you think it is?
I'm not exactly sure, but it had to do with hacking the computer.
Yeah, what is your name?
Jasmine,
Jasmine?
isn't it when a hacker takes hostage of one of your files or something else of yours and makes you pay a certain amount of money or give certain data to them in order to
Files?
get it back?
Okay, what else?
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar. Mainly I heard about it, they target businesses and kind of take control of all of their purchasing company files.
Why, we all have Google right in front of us. Type ransomware and hospitals. Ransomware and health. What do you get? You get anything, or they say they're completely free, those? If I just say ransomware. First of all, I get ads, right? That's the first thing. Reduce ransomware attacks, right? Look at this. How ransomware affects hospital data security. How ransomware is a type of what? A type of malware that typically prevents organizations from accessing certain types of systems. The Institute of Critical Infrastructure called 2016 the year of ransomware. What did the hospital does every day, right? Hancock details ransomware attack. Healthcare hits hospitals, bank info, hospital attack, surge. So what now? So what do? It's not just a file, but what do? They take over the whole health data. They take care of the whole system. You need to operate today. You need to know who you're going to operate on. What are you supposed to be doing? Can you imagine? Basically, a hacker comes in and basically said, you can't get into your system. So it's not just a file. It's an entire system. And what do they usually demand? What's ransom? God forbid they kidnap. You get kidnapped or your child gets kidnapped. What do they usually ask for? What's ransom mean? They want some money, right? I'll return your kid, right? Give it back to me. I'll return your wife. I'll return your husband or whatever. Yes.
What if it's like a white collar hacker?
Yeah. What do they usually demand? Do they demand any money? Do they do it just for kicks? What do they demand? Demand some kind of payment. Payment how? Anybody know how? They said put your $200,000 underneath the tree outside on US 1. Huh?
Cryptocurrency?
Basically what? Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Now hospitals are setting up Bitcoin accounts. And the majority, we'll talk about the majority of the hospitals are paying. Cities now, governments now are being hacked for taking over for this ransomware, and guess what they're paying to? Is that a good idea? Well, it keeps on continuing. And they ask for sometimes $65,000, $100,000. So think about it. Is that expensive when we're thinking about the whole hospital shut down, for just one operation? Can you imagine for a whole this could be days on end for it, so they're paying. So this area, we'll be talking about this. Why do they basically go to hospitals?
Necessity.
Hmm?
Necessity?
Okay, one is necessity, what else?
Huge amount of data.
Huge amount of done, what else?
HIPAA?
So,
Money?
So as in like, they're gonna.
HIPAA we can throw out all the time, HIPAA.
They're gonna have to pay up, because
Well, why?
They're
Well,
patient.
why go after them versus, I'm gonna go after, why not I go after Amazon? They got lots of data. Why not go after a bank, you know? They got lots of data and it's gonna be important.
patient information.
Patient information, what else? The hospital industry in general is less secure than other industries. If you think about it, the hospital, you'll see it, they're less sophisticated before. Anybody ever see any paper in a hospital? Raise your hand, have you ever seen any paper? Right? We've seen all, we still have a lot of it. It was a big deal, the EHRs, right, the electronic health records, to say meaningful use is basically saying go digital. They were like the last industry to say we're gonna go digital. Remember all the disasters that we have with that? They were the last industry. So in general, in the United States, that health industry is lagging. In one sense, for us, in terms of opportunities to make it more efficient and effective, there are opportunities there. But that's why they're doing it, is one, because it's a necessity. One, it's life and death, right? With others, okay, I can't order from Amazon one day, my book. Here I'm under the table, right? And then we're gonna think about IoT. What's IoT? Internet of Things. Do we have Internet of Things within a hospital environment? The whole thing is that Internet is basically all my devices. And can they be hacked? I can even have somebody who, you know, you remember Dick Cheney? Anybody remember Dick Cheney? Dick Cheney was having some hard system, and then he said he didn't want a certain one because he was afraid that people in the world hated him so much that they would hack in, you know, and turn it off, you know? So it's that idea of just one patient, but think about all the havoc you can do of this Internet of Things. We think about the electric grid and so forth. We think about terrorist hacking. So these were areas that we'll cover when you think about this class. So we'll be able to understand those and deliver those and involving, and you can read through this. My approach to here will be assigned readings. There'll be class discussions. We'll be doing case studies. We'll be doing software demonstrations, hardware demonstrations. We'll have group lectures. We'll have group presentations, and we'll have written exams. So much more interactive, and the preparation is, we don't have all the answers, and I don't expect any of us to have all the answers, but I expect us to be prepared. So one of the things is we'll be prepared. This is the evaluation. We'll have 2 tests. One test in the middle of the semester, and one test we're scheduled for final exams. And what I saw now, anybody see our final exam schedule? I don't know if it's finalized, but one schedule I saw is, it's easy to remember. I don't know if you like it, but it's easy to remember. I saw us listed as the last day of final exams at maybe the last time period. So what I just suggest, anyone that's making flight plans and so forth, is to take that in mind, because there are no makeups for these, so you're known in advance. If it changes, let me know, because I don't think they formally did it, but I found somewhere online that it was listed that this section, I looked twice too. I said, what? And it was, you know, I think it was December 11th at, was it at 8 o'clock at night to 10:30. So that's they made it the latest, so you can't say I couldn't get out of work or something. So you get time, but we'll worry about that later. There'll be group projects in this class and presentations. It turns out that, we have a week for Thanksgiving here, and we come back, and there's only 2 days of classes, it's Monday and Tuesday. So you can put in your notes, I'll try to do the Wednesday, which is a reading day, to have our class as well, so we can do like exam and do a review for exams, for the final exam for that. So you can schedule then that last time for that Wednesday. Assignments, the way I do assignments, some will be single assignments and some will be regular assignments. For next week, this is I'm putting tentative schedule based on what we'll be doing, but we'll be going over chapter 1 of the book, and if you, sometimes it's just difficult to get there, is if you go to this link, this is the book that we'll be using, Healthcare Information Systems, the 4th edition. And if you see here on the side, read an excerpt, you get chapter 1 as a PDF. So if you don't get the book right away, chapter 1 is due for next week, you can at least read it here, get the PDF. I don't care how you get the book. I don't care what format you get the book. I don't care if you get it used. I don't care if you rent it. It doesn't matter to me. What's easier to you, and what I suggest is you get it the least expensive way that you can, but that's up to you. I usually am frugal, so I always don't like to pay more than I need to for the same type of product. But you can go here and you can see here, chapter 1 is available and it gives you an overview of the landscape. So you see in that aspect that you see. What else do I need? You can see here then the chapters from the additional readings. They'll be on data. Data is the king, really. In health information systems, where do we have? We can be able to do predictive analytics with our data. We'll be able to do summaries of our data, statistics of our data. Data is king in any aspect, but especially in healthcare. So we'll be spending a lot of time looking at tools and how do you analyze data. So we'll be doing that. I'll give you additional readings on that. We'll be talking about decision making, again, data. We'll be talking about something called data warehousing, data mining. We'll be also talking about interoperability, which is amazing that this is an issue that in healthcare here in the United States is a burden here on the interoperable, the standards. We'll talk about security. I'll have also guest speakers talking about cybersecurity, especially in healthcare. I'll be giving you issues with healthcare and security. It's key. And even though we kind of throw out HIPAA as well, it's more than just HIPAA. It's basically, there's a lot of loopholes going. We'll talk about artificial intelligence. Everybody's heard of AI. We've heard about machine learning. Deep learning we'll cover. And we'll be able to do that. We'll talk about, as well as multimedia. Anybody hear about blockchain? No? Look up blockchain. What is your name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. What have you heard about?
It's just a way to encrypt certain.
Okay. We have Google in front of us, Google blockchain and healthcare.
Are the tests, is the second test gonna be cumulative?
Usually the second test is not cumulative, but you know, everything kind of relies on the other one. I really want to emphasize more the group projects than spending time on the test. Good question. So what happens? So if we go, if I go to Google, and instead of ransomware in healthcare, I type then what? Blockchain and healthcare. Custom blockchain solution, these are all my ads, right? KPMG, reshape the business landscape. Case study for blockchain and healthcare, blockchain technology and healthcare. So that looks like, will blockchain save the healthcare? In the simplest terms, blockchain is a shared record of transactions. It enables participants in a group to securely share data with each other without a middleman and keep track of what was exchanged and when. The challenges that blockchain addresses in healthcare are very disruptive. So we'll be talking about it's again data being encrypted and secure and trying to get rid of that middle layer. It's the beginning and people are seeing, we'll talk to some companies that are trying to do blockchain with healthcare here. Anybody hear about Bitcoin? Yeah. Blockchain is the underlying technology of Bitcoin, but we'll talk about that and we'll look at some work there. So we have there, and then what? I don't. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yeah. Okay, there. Don't you like that? And then, what is it trying to do here? And now it's trying to open up something. And now what does it say? This is used by another, okay. So, and now we'll also go over EHRs, electronic health records, IT standards, NLP, which is natural language, and how do you govern all this? And we'll look at the new opportunities and emerging trends. And you can see here, every week I'll be giving you additional readings, there'll be homeworks, and the week before Thanksgiving, we'll have presentations. And the presentation will be under group presentations. Anybody here, do you have a question? No, it's good, stretch, it's gonna be hard. We'll take a break, I think. We'll see how we do today, whether we wanna do like a little mini marathon and end early today, you understand? And maybe, and then later on when we'll have like more hands-on, we'll do a hands-on exercise today, a small one, and then I'll answer any other questions, and then usually we'll break it down to 2 parts. And you'll tell me how we want to set this up, because this is hard, you know what I mean, in this evening for it, of whether we want to be like a marathon. You know, when I run any distance, and I'm not a long distance, but I always hated to stop because I would never continue, you know what I mean? So sometimes when I stop, you know, even in the evening, it's just hard to keep on getting back. But feel free to stretch or move or whatever we need to do, and we'll figure out different ways to do this. Okay, the exams, so we got this. Any questions on this? So there's 2 exams. There'll be one on the schedule for final, one in the middle sessions, and then we'll talk about that as well. okay? We talk about there'll be group projects, and basically, when we're dealing with group projects, that will be decided by the group and myself. I'll be in everybody's group, which is nice, you know what I mean? So you'll have me as feedback with everybody's group, and we'll decide together based on people. Once we start in the very beginning is what we want to do, but it'll be around healthcare, health information systems, and I'll give you examples of what you can do for your group project. And we'll start off, we'll use a number of tools. We'll prototype some things of what you want to do. Some people will come up with ideas, and we'll share in the group. Okay, what else? Let me go back to here. So we've done the course syllabus, so I finished the course syllabus. So everybody knows the syllabus. Let's go to assignments. Everybody in assignments, click on assignments and tell me what you got. What do you have on your screen? Because my screen is different. What does it say?
Just quizzes.
Quizzes. So this is our book that we're using. So let's go into quizzes. And how many quizzes do you have? None. Every week we'll have a quiz based on the readings from the chapters. And the exam will cover the readings from the chapters. So there'll be two parts of the exam. There'll be like a multiple choice covering the terminology and the concepts from the chapters. And they'll be open-ended based on our readings and our class discussions. So even though the book I think is pretty good in overall on health information systems, things are changing so quickly that we add on. And every semester, every time I teach this course, I add on new materials because it's changing each time, and then you can add on additional ideas you have. So every week I have a quiz, and instead of wasting our time in class to take the quiz, why don't you just take it online? Right? No brainer. I want to use our time that we're together as valuable. Your time is valuable, my time is valuable, so we can use it. So I'm going to make it, you have available chapter 1 for you, even if you don't get the book right away, you have it available to you. So I need to make this available. And notice it says right now, item is hidden from students. So you see this little point here, I have to then edit the test options. And let me show you how I edit the test options. Here's the name, chapter 1, 4E for 4th edition. I have to open the test in a new window. That's a good idea. These are options. I have to make it available to the students. I can add a new announcement for this test. Let me go ahead and do that. And then I can give in no attempts or multiple attempts. My purpose in quizzes is just for you to know and review the material. It's not for me, but for you. So in this case, I'm going to give you 2 attempts to do it. You can do it open book, open notes, open time. I don't care how long it takes you. The main thing is you get the material. Right? That's how it should be, right? Just like, Google it, right? We don't know all the answers, right? How many people ever, it's not like the same thing is almost the symptoms, right? How many times do you Google your symptoms, right? And try to figure out what you have. It's the same idea. We'll talk about it. But I'm going to give you 2 attempts. The last grade that you attempt will be recorded. And they really won't count. You need to do the quizzes, but it's not where people saying, I did really well in the quizzes. Why did I get a lower grade? And I always say, well, big deal. You did really well in the quizzes, I mean, it was open book. You got to do it twice. You can check it, So I brag about other things, but just that I wouldn't. If you didn't do well in the quizzes, I don't know why you wouldn't, But and if you have problems, and my purpose to give you those quizzes is to come back and say, these are areas that I don't understand, or can you go into more detail with it? Because it's silly for me to spend time to go over readings that you read and that you know. What I want to spend our time together are challenges and issues that we have. You understand? So if there's something in the readings that you want clarification for, bring it. I expect you to bring it up in class. I'll emphasize what I think is important, but I don't need to go through, just every PowerPoint there is. Anybody ever see that? I've never been to a presentation. I said, oh, I wish I would have seen one more PowerPoint. It's the idea that you can get PowerPointed to death. But the idea is to be encouraged and enhanced in it. So I submit, and I view this seminar as together. So when I make that submit, what I request from you is that you check to see whether you see it on your end, because what is it? My role is different from your role. So do you see it now? Yes, no?
No.
You don't see it. Refresh your screen and see it. You see it?
No, no. I clicked on my assignment, mine doesn't appear anything.
On my assignments. Are you on the right one?
ET 450, solution to help informatics.
What? Yeah. So refresh. Does anybody see it? Yeah. So sit next to each other and see what's the problem.
It's in the student one, not the
What?
TA one. It's
What?
in the student one, not the TA one.
Yeah. Extra credit. See? So that's what we do. We help each other. That's the whole purpose. Right? So, and don't you think everything is easy when you know it? Once you know it, he's so confused. So that's the whole idea, is to help one another. And once she helps you, you can help her. Right? You have different strengths than he does. That's the whole idea of this class, not to hold your information to you. On the exam, it's not helping each other. That's the only time that we don't do it. But in group projects and so forth, even on individual assignments, when I'm giving it, is helping one another. You still have to do the work, but you want to be able to reach out to one another. Do you get it?
Yes.
Perfect. Anybody want to get? And that's why I'd like you to even sit next to one another so you can just lean back and see what it is. Okay? So we got here the course documents, the assignments. Now let's go to web links. Everybody with me? Go to web links. And if you're not with me, check with your neighbor. Okay. Now, I'm broadcasting from here, outside the computer. When we're starting software and we're looking at how certain software behaves or responds, I want to record what's happening within my screen, within my computer. And that type of program is called screencasting software. What I'm doing is I'm recording what's happening so I can review it for myself, give it as a tutorial, give it as when I'm stuck, I need some help, give it to my patients, whatever I need to do it. So there's screencasting software available. You can Google it and see for your operating system, whether you have a Mac or whether you have a Windows, what's available in screencasting software. There's many available. I'm using right now what they call MS Recorder Max. So if I want to record, what do I need to do? Anybody have any ideas? I want to record my screen now. Hit record. Wow, what a class. Here. And now I want to go full screen. And you can see here I have a file name. And the file name, it changes each time, but it says my video 190821 192647.mpg. So I can record in a file. What does that file name mean? Does that have any meaning, or it's random number? It says 19. Let me just make this a little bit larger. It just says 1908. Let me just see Anybody have an idea? It says 1908-21-19-2647.
Time.
The time, so what time is it? So first of all, it's a date, right, 1908-21, and then the time would be what? It would be then a military time of 19, right, and 2647, and MPEG is a certain file type. And it's saved in the folder C video. And if I say record, you can see the timer is going, and then as I did before, this is the healthcare, this is the link to the healthcare, and this is a comparison of screencasting software. Here's one, but you can find it on Google. Here's Active Presenter, and then they have not only the product name, but the publisher, the latest stable version. OS means what?
Operating system.
Operating system, and software license, and the source code. And I'm screencasting the program, so if I wanted to stop, and it says here, anybody can read this? What does this say?
Don't display.
Do you want what? The video clip uploaded to YouTube. So in this case, it'd be good that I could record the screens and automatically it could be uploaded to my YouTube channel, and then it would be nice I can even attach to it questions to that segment of the video, and people could even, before they even watch the video, they could see if they understood the material, then watch the video, or once they watch the video, they could take the quiz, and then they could get, for instance, continuing medical education or what. So I'm going to say right now, I'm going to say no, and then I could record again. And this I would need then is I could create a bot. Anybody knows what a BOT is? And what would I tell you? If anybody says no, what should you do in this class? Look it up. So look up, right? You're sitting there. It's so easy to wander. It's so easy to fall asleep. So it might as well be active, right? And you might as well learn. So just don't look at me.
Oh, robot?
BOT. What's a BOT?
An internet bot.
An internet bot. What is it?
An autonomous program on a network, especially the internet, that can interact with computer systems or users, especially one designed to respond or behave like a player in an adventure game.
On an adventure game, or even to basically, they call it now processing, basically to automate processing tasks. If I do a task time and time again, do you want a person to be able to do that? Why not program it and have the software do it each time? So each time I say full screen, record, why should I bother doing it? Just say after every 5 minutes or every 3 minutes, go ahead and divide it up into chunks. So I'll be looking at that as well. So these are areas in which you see here of healthcare, comparison of software that I have. Let me just move this. Right? That you can see here. You have something called Health IT Gov. Click on that. Everybody see it? That link? What is this? Any ideas? It says what? It says topic, it says news update. If you see a domain name with .gov, what does that mean? Government. And what government is this, you think? It's U.S. government, right? On their health care, and basically they're emphasizing then IT. So if you look at topics, you're looking at topics of what? International health IT collaboration, health IT, health information exchange. We'll talk about that. Is basically, what is the HIE? Anybody ever hear of HIE, health information exchange? if you go to Baptist Hospital and you go to University of Miami Hospital,
Health insurance.
it's basically, we're talking about health information exchanges. It's difficult in the United States to exchange health information from each hospital system to another. So basically the idea was to create an exchange. When you're dealing with banking, right, and you're in Bank America and I'm in Citibank, and I write you a check, right, it's easy for those banks to exchange information, exchange monies and so forth. In different health institutions, it is not easy to exchange data. So they've come up with an idea that we should do this health information exchange, and we'll be talking about it. Interoperability, meaning that I can operate among different systems. Privacy, security, and HIPAA, you see that? Standards and technology, usability, and this is based on the government requirements. So this is one. You can see here I have another one called Healthcare Information Week. Let's see if something comes up here. What do they want to give me? And here, basically, you can see if I go to more and I go to healthcare, right? Let's see. Look at what the first one is. State-sponsored cyber attacks target medical research. Cancer research particularly target among Chinese espionage groups, says security from FireEye. Outlook is good for healthcare thanks to big data. Anonymized data may violate GDPR. Anybody know what GDPR is? No? No? You're looking at me like I fell from the moon, no?
General data protection regulation.
Okay, and what does that mean? General data protection regulation.
It's
And who cares?
regulation in Europe. Law.
In Europe. So Europe has set a standard for what?
For data protection and privacy.
Data protection and privacy. Everybody hear about Facebook problems with data and privacy? One of the things is, who has been more strict on data privacy has been Europe. And Europe has set up GDPR. And that's been a standard where a lot of times when it just started, a lot of software companies had to do this. Look at this, GDPR analysis and advice 1 year in, because it's only been 1 year, and it's being affected with healthcare. Digital transformation challenges, why effective computing needs synthetic emotion. Anybody know what affective computing systems are? You have affect, what does it mean? Mood. So basically, what is affective computing systems? Pretty interesting. I mean, there's so many interesting topics here. I just love this class. I don't know if you will, but I love it. Because there's so many different things that you can do. Look at this. Affective impact human emotions. They aren't necessarily able to recognize or respond to emotions well, but that will change.
It's scary.
There's two sides to it, right? But you think about mental health. One area that has been so, in my opinion, my humble opinion, been so underutilized is using computing for mental health. Think about our world. Does that mean mental health rehabilitation or what? Craziness. And there's not enough people reaching out, and a lot of times they don't reach out. They don't have the means. They don't have. Sometimes for embarrassment, I don't want to even be anonymous. I don't want to even step foot. So it's the idea. Now they have this idea of affective computing systems trying to recognize it. And basically, a lot of this technology can be used in nefarious ways, and also even almost ways that you want to gives you the creeps. But in other ways, it can be popular. Any marketing majors here in the whole area of marketing, they're doing that all the time. You know, even passing by a sign They're now being able to say, are you happy, are you sad, are you interested, you know, it'll be able to grab you and grab your attention here. So basically, systems include care, but you can think about it, it really is interesting, care robots. You never thought, like in care robots, virtual assistants can facilitate more intimate human and machine relationships. It's almost like that movie, anybody see that movie where it was in love with some robot? Already systems have been designed to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, dementia. Meanwhile, individuals are being nudged in ways that impact their consumption, political choices, whether they realize it or not. So evoking emotions and things like that. So I like this publication for the way in which you can look at it. It's kind of like what's happening now in the focus of healthcare. But you can see healthcare breach, again, that security expands to 19.6 million patient accounts. Anybody hear about that Capital One, the bank breach of 133 million? Well, you know, a lot of these folks, you know, are getting it in the way in which healthcare is even more, not only getting my Social Security, but getting it trends of the future, data-driven. So you can see that is pretty interesting on this one. And then there's an organization called HIMSS. Anybody hear about that? This is an organization of health information and management systems. And why I like this organization is they have annually in Orlando a conference, March 9th through 13th, where they have hundreds and hundreds of new startups coming in to show their wares in the where health information systems. They usually have it in Orlando, and they have a chapter, a South Florida chapter called HIMSS here. And I usually, every time I teach this class, have representatives from that organization join us here. And it's interesting if you want to get part of that organization. They've also given in the past scholarships to those students that I recommend. They've also given free trips to this conference in Orlando as well. So this is an interesting area, and you can see the same topics that we always are using here of the news and topics are areas of this HIMSS where you'll see it, that area of their resource library, and so you'll see their area as well. So you'll see that they'll have it. The other one of the web links that I'd like you to look at is this one, mobile app news. The reason I like this one for you to look at this link is you'll get ideas for your project. Besides having all these ads pop up on me more. And if you look at topics here, I like to look at the topics of what investors, and also you can look at what consumers, pharma, providers do. If you look at investors, I like to look first at investors. I like to see which companies are investing for what types of software platforms. And it's amazing what people now are so eager to do. Dutch, for instance, Dutch startup secures 1.4 million then here euros for digital sleeping coaching platform. Can you imagine? B2B sleep coaching technologies raised here to develop its existing technology. Long-term care communications platform. You can see here to deliver mail order birth control kits. My Health Team, Med Answers launches fertility answers. See how specific it is. You almost can do these apps for very specific, and look how much money they raise. And Miami is one of the key in the United States for raising money in healthcare. I'll invite also, they have a healthcare boot camps here where people are coming in. And what I've done in the past, there's even a menopause telehealth startup, closes at $4 million. Look how narrow they're getting. Used to be more generic. You can kind of see it. I've had in the past, what I've done, and I'll invite them as well, an MD, MBA Durst. Anybody know him? This doesn't sound too good, does it? It's getting tired too. And what he does is he invests in startups. And what I've had him come in the past is come when you do presentations. And thinking about maybe in a certain project to invest in. So that's good to know. So I'd like you to look at those for ideas sometimes, and you can see here, and then you can look at consumers or what they're doing in consumer, healthcare kind of ways, pivoting, a lot of watches, travel safety, new apps. Okay. So this is what we have here. On September, we'll be doing some web apps here. We'll be doing some mobile app development, some prototypes for mobile app for your project. We'll be doing also websites. Anybody hear of Wix, W-I-X? Anybody used it before? So we have, how much does it cost, Wix? Anybody know? It can be free. The problem being free is what? You get the ads, you don't get your own domain. There's premium services. So what we've arranged, and we had it last semester with Simon and Alex, is what I've arranged is Wix is an Israeli company that I'm familiar with, and I've gotten them to have their U.S. representative from New York City to come down on September 11th and give us a tutorial, plus give us a code that for our class we can get premier service for a year. We'll get a free domain name. We'll get their service with their support, e-commerce, and that's a really good deal. Plus, if you're interested, they're trying ways to enter the academic market, so they said they'll also give like a Wix certificate. So if you do your website, you follow their criteria, you can also get from them that you're that you get a certificate as well. So they're scheduled to come in September 11th here to the class. They're coming down from New York City, and then if we need to, they'll come back in October too to help us in more advanced. Anybody know what SEO is? What's SEO? Search engine optimization. Because if you do a website and you want it to be high in Google, you want it to be high on the search engine. You don't want to be on page 10. So we'll have them come as well. So I'll have them as guest speakers. Okay, questions on how the class will run. So now let's go to our audit section. What is your name?
Bernardo.
Bernardo.
Yes.
How are you doing, Bernardo?
Good.
Good to see you again. Okay, so Bernardo, so what do we want to do? You should have known this, right? You just got a little tired. So anyways, let's go back to Blackboard. So everybody understand, so if I stop the screencast, right? If I stop the screencast and I said, do you want to know, right? I could play that right back again, or I could start another recording of this, right? Full screen and record. And now where am I going to go? I want to go to BTE 450 685 KY audit. And what do you see under, for instance, under course documents? How do I see this? Did you put this? Good. So what do I get here? Okay, so if I, you know what you could have done too, is just make it as, hyperlink, just make it as a web link, so we can go into that, so we can paste into it. So let's put it as a web, you know what? Move it, Alex,
Yeah.
to, do we have web links here?
No.
So we should include web links, go to course management, and include web links here, and we can put it under our web links. Okay? So, what I want to do, so I'm gonna, right now, I'm going to take this off, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna eliminate it, okay? Alex,
Yeah, that's fine.
so I'm gonna delete that. Did it delete? Of course not. It's stuck, what happened? What does it say? Delete, oh, okay. All right, so I have a course document here. And I'm gonna do this, and what I want us to do for the merged audit area is to use it as a collaborative space where everybody can put their group work and assignments there. Everybody clear? And we can share it, we can see each other's. So I'm gonna be first, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do, and I'm going to then have you do it as well. So I'm in course documents. Everybody in course documents, you just can watch me now. And I'm going to go to content folder. And I'm going to give myself group 0. And now I'm going to put my name here. I'm going to put my email. I can put my Miami email, or I can even put my Gmail email. Even if you send something to Miami, my Miami edu address, it will get here as well. So it's, if I can spell, I'll be okay. So it's drsrush@gmail.com, and then I can give my phone. Okay, and then I submit. And you can see myself as group 0 and my name. What I want from each of your groups, and the groups can be 3 to 4 people. We'll do this tonight. And what I want under each group, I want each person's name, their email, and their phone. That way, in their phone, people can text each other if they have issues, if they're not even in the same group. I have 2 assignments for next week. Besides reading chapter 1, write an answer, and doing the quiz, the other part is we need to start doing collaborative work together. So the first thing we need, we're going to look at a number of different softwares in this class and programs. And what I want is for each of you to review a screencasting program. What is a screencasting program? It's something that you can record the screen when you're using software or when you're searching, and then you save it, and then someone else or yourself can play it back and follow you. So once I go into group 0, what I want is I want to create another folder, content folder, and I'm going to call it Screencasting Software. Did I misspell it? Right? So it's screencasting software, and in this case, I'll even put my name, right, and then I'll put the software package that I used. And each person in your group will, in this case, on the content folder, put in their name and the software that they used. And then when they submit, in the screencasting software program, go into it, and then you'll upload via an item. You can put that in your notes. You'll upload via an item your description, and also you'll attach the file of your video that you made, your screencasting program. I just want your screencasting program video to be a minute or less. And you'll do a review using the same program. So, for instance, I would then use screencasting of the MSN recorder, and I would be able to talk about that this screencasting MSN recorder works on Windows, and that it also uploads to YouTube. So in this case, I would put then here my MSN recorder, the title. Right, and I would put also my name. And then I would have a description of what was the software program, what did it do, MSN recorder, right? And then I would put then that MSN recorder basically runs on Windows. So you would put in what operating system, uploads, and then basically you could even do this, runs on Windows. You can then put in like the pros. And then you could put in the cons. What were the problems? You can put the cons and make it short in the way that you could just have a description so people could see that, and then you could submit. And then the second part, once I have this, I go back to my course document. You could see I have group 0,